Zambia is in a beautiful transition zone. So there are parts of Zambia that are really quite dry savanna. So they look just like the pictures you see from, say, Kenya, where you get spread out acacia trees and large grasslands. And then where the university was, we were in kind of a transitional zone where woodland was pretty developed. So you see a lot of trees. And then if you go farther north in Zambia, really a better term for that would be, seasonally dry forest. But it's part of that transition from grassland to full forest. And within Zambia, you can get all three of those. So for example, woodland, or fairly well-developed woodland, was viewed as an economic opportunity. So woodland could either be cut down for farming, or you could selectively harvest for charcoal. And charcoal is a big business in Zambia because you don't always have access to electricity, and of course you got to cook food.
Right.
Also, it gets rather cold in Zambia in the early dry season, so it can be almost freezing because the elevation there is pretty high. So that's the areas that they think of as economically important, and those are also the areas that are most endangered. The funny thing, if I can use the word funny in a strange sense, the wet grasslands, which they call Dambos, these Dambos are very rich, but people generally don't like them. They associate Dambos with snakes, and crocodiles in some cases, but generally not used as much for farmland. Yeah, so a lot of people in Zambia are very forward-thinking, and they're concerned about the environment for the future. So for example, I met with a lot of subsistence or small-scale farmers, also a couple of large-scale farmers, and they were willing to try new techniques like no-till, also using fewer pesticides. Of course, a lot of people can't even afford pesticides, but some of the large-scale people using fewer pesticides. One issue, of course, is fertilizers, because the soils are not of the highest quality, yet the people, of course, want to be, they want to have a sustainable agriculture. So fertilizers is a big issue, like how to get the plant the nutrition to grow crops they need, but not to cause downstream environmental problems. Also, a lot of people are very excited about ecotourism and about natural resources. Of course, maybe I saw a little more than that than really exists because I was teaching in a school of agriculture and natural resources. So, I heard from a lot of students and professors and people that we interacted with, that they're interested in those kinds of jobs and opportunities, but there really just aren't a lot of those jobs and opportunities. So what do they have to fall back on? So even if they have a good background in natural resources and conservation, really their options are working for the government forestry agency or the national parks. But there aren't too many opportunities. And again, there are some, there's a growing business of, I guess I could call it ecotourism in Zambia. So there are a lot of people who are interested and dedicated for conservation related issues, but how do they feed their families from those interests? And they haven't quite met up yet. And I was really impressed with how seriously people take it. So I think they're at a good stage if all the parts can fit together soon.